What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square Chasing Cinema.
Mr. James Hsu.com.
We are here for Michael Fassbender's The Snowman.
Yes. You know, really kind of excited for this movie.
Me too.
A great thriller. It's been
Trailers, man.
You know, a little bit of like, you know, just kind of a disappointment because this was originally slated to be a Scorsese picture with Leo taking over Fassbender's role.
I didn't know that.
Not saying I prefer him, but you know, it ended
I didn't know
up
that.
Yeah,
and directed by
I believe this was directed, so now that's why he bumped out to executive producers, because this is his executive producer, and Leo obviously couldn't do it. Not that Fassbender is not equally as good as
Fassbender can be amazing.
Yeah, he really can be. So this is a thriller I'm really excited. Also, Thelma Schoonmaker, his Scorsese's, you know, editor, and one of the best editors working, is also behind this. So a lot of hype going in, but I'm curious to see what you thought of The Snowman.
Well, you know, I thought the trailers have been cut so well.
Yeah.
And I love 90s murder mysteries.
Thrillers, yeah.
I love
Those 90s
thrillers.
thrillers,
I
yeah.
love those. This movie, without a doubt, absolutely 100% non-negotiable, non-debatable, was that. No, it was not good. It was not good.
I thought you were going to say the opposite.
It was not good.
You
Holy
didn't like
moly.
it?
No, it wasn't good, dog. Like, I was expecting, like, we get to know Fassbender for 10 minutes, and then, all right, let's get into it. I thought there was going to be a murder, and then left clues, and then another murder, left clues. Oh, no. That was not this.
Oh, no.
I don't even have anything to say other than the fact I love Rebecca Ferguson ever since Mission Impossible 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
She was fine in this, but didn't do much, and then the whole little subplot with her, didn't care for that. And then Fassbender being a not great person, really, the bum, didn't care for that. And
Or him being a bum.
when they revealed the killer, I was just like, oh, really? I'm like, okay, all right. At that point, I'm already sitting there next to...
Basically, you don't find out until you're like 1 hour and 50 minutes in. So you are already kind of just over it.
It just wasn't good to me.
You're not wrong, I don't think.
It just wasn't good to me. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I could really say. I don't even have any... I can't even really say what I don't like about it either. It was slow.
Yeah.
Slow burn. 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10.
I think that you know, for me, what's really tough is that I think there's something there, but it's something that obviously got away from them. You know, I think there was something that we had here. I believe this movie that takes place in also Norway is based off of a Norwegian novel.
Book, yes,
yeah.
and they said the book, you have to read the book to fully appreciate this.
Yeah.
But
And then
you're not supposed to do that.
No, of course, you know, you should be able to watch an adaptation. But I think it was one of those things where so many. I mean, of course, when you have so many talented people on something, and it's like just looks awesome, it's such a bigger disappointment. When it ends up not being exactly what you want. But I think this is just one of the situations where it was a beast that got away from these filmmakers. I think the major problem for The Snowman is that, you know, I think it comes down to some bad storytelling at times. And I think it just doesn't feel focused. You know, like, I was thinking at one point there's a character who is standing on very thin ice, and the cracks start going below him, and I'm like, this is kind of like the movie, because it's just all over the place, and they're going in different directions, and they never really go full circle, and there's so many things that are there, and there's so many baffling choices as far as direction, and, you know, that just don't really feel like they work. And I think, of course, the problem is, you know, you were yawning the entire time, probably because we just weren't invested in the story, right? These murders, though later teased of how gruesome they could be, never feel like they have any weight to us. We don't really care. We just know that there's a guy, he sent a note to a cop, now the chase has begun, but we never feel that kind of stake at what's at hand. Like, there's no investment in what's going on. I think the gimmick of the snowmen doesn't really work. You know, it's barely working in the trailer. It's kind of like jokey, but like, oh, okay, you know, could deal.
I liked it in the trailer.
Yeah, but here it really doesn't work.
No.
I mean, like, as this thing that not only is like his kind of MO is leaving at a scene, but sometimes doing it before the crime takes place. It's like, okay, you know, it just doesn't seem to all flow. It doesn't make sense, right? And then you kind of think about the poster of the movie and this whole idea that it has to do with these notes that are being sent to Henry Hull, Michael Fassbender's character, who's this drunk detective who's chasing this serial killer. And it just like that, the clues don't even go nowhere. Like there was really those kind of two clues, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then I hate it because I don't hate it. Well, one thing I did hate about it, though, is that it went in such a tacky fashion. You know, we have this kind of movie that is trying to do something, and while I don't think they accomplished it, it was trying to be something very real and serious. But then when we actually invade the serial killer's home, later in the movie, it is like right out of like a bad 80s movie, where there is nothing in this person's house except the blue pad and his one pen, because that's the only thing that he does in his house. And it's so like unrealistic and just tacky. I think Michael Fassbender's fine in this movie. I don't think he's great. I mean, I think he's the best thing in the movie, probably. I'm trying to think of other things. It's hard not to talk about Val Kilmer, who is really just oddly in this movie.
His cancer or whatever is really...
I don't know if he was... I didn't know
he has cancer.
Yeah.
And none of that was his voice.
Yeah, no. He was completely ADR and poorly
horrible.
ADR.
It was horrible.
Yeah. So that was really distracting. And when we got out of the critic screening earlier this week, that's all everyone talked about. You know, when you leave, you kind of talk to the person who's there, and you tell them a little comment. And like everything was, what happened to Val Kilmer? What happened to Val Kilmer? Was that Val Kilmer? What happened to Val Kilmer?
He has cancer in real life.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's like such a sore thumb for this movie. I understand if he wants to keep working. I understand, you know, I appreciate if that's the case. You know, he wants to keep doing projects, but you literally only saw Val Kilmer. You weren't seeing his character. You were just like, wow, what happened to Val Kilmer the entire time? Yeah. And it really pulls you out of the movie, and that's like really not a good thing for this kind of setting too. There's also some...
I don't even know if you'll believe me. I don't even know what the point of his character was. Now that I think about it, like I don't even understand. What was it?
Well, I won't tell you on camera, but I can tell you a little bit back. He has some
Ferguson's
influence.
dad?
Yeah. But, and like, there's some really just odd things about this movie, really baffling choices. In the very beginning of the movie, there's this car chase, and there's this one scene that almost looks like claymation. It doesn't look real before they go into this tunnel. And then later, there's a bunch of birds that are kind of taking out this body. And when they're revealed and they kind of fly away, the CGI looks really laughable. So there was plenty of things to keep you from really getting into this movie. And not being invested and not caring, and then like not kind of getting into the real world of it, it obviously stems to be a problem. I mean, you have someone like J.K. Simmons in this movie who is, you know, also a wonderful talent, but doesn't really do anything, doesn't really have anything to really work with. And then it falls back on just like, I think, bad storytelling. That whole kind of subplot really just doesn't feel satisfying. It doesn't feel like it's doing much for the story. And yeah, overall, it's just, it's a really big disappointment.
Big time. I was like so looking forward to it.
And the thing is, but you could also, and again, when I said that there's something here, is this is also a movie you could tell that has been edited like a ridiculous amount of times. Like they have took this thing to the cutting room floor like a ridiculous amount of times. It feels edited until the point where you could tell there are things that are missing, that don't feel right. I mean, it felt like the editors were trying to piece together this movie the best they could, and this is what we had. It was really rough. I'm really bummed out because this was one that I was really looking forward to, but what you can do.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen occasionally.
And unfortunately, we'll have to reset and do it all again.
Always.
In another week.
Yeah, next week we have Jigsaw, the 8th installment of the Saw franchise, where we kind of go ahead into the future, I believe, a little bit. We also have Thank You for Your Service, and I think a few others that Suburbicon will be opening. I don't know if we're going to get that here, or if that's releasing on Thursday night, but you know, hopefully we'll have a bunch of stuff next week. I know that. I think a few smaller films open up in Vegas as well, but just stay tuned to Chasing Cinema. And starting tomorrow, the plan is we're going to do 7 days of Saw leading up to Jigsaw, as me and Hsu reviewed the anniversary of Saw. Everyone who's been with us that long knows that Saw is a big franchise that I've been a fan of, you know, the good and the bad. So I'm going to be talking about a Saw movie a day for the next 7 days, which will bring us to Thursday night when we watch Jigsaw here at AMC Town Square.
Is that going to be on, you doing videos on that or written?
I haven't really decided which route I'm going to go yet, but Twitter would probably be the best thing to follow me on, and I'll probably link up everything to that.
Twitter.com/Jacob
Tiranno. Yeah, and then we'll retweet that through Chasing Cinema as well, so chasingcinema.com. All of that information will be available when I decide what exactly I'm going to do. And then also make sure to go check out our review for Only the Brave, the opposing movie this week.
I love it. All right, let's hope a Jigsaw's great because last couple ones for me haven't been great.
Yeah, no,
They've been
very
forgettable.
meh, yeah.
They're like, nah.
Well, November appears to be the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So let's hope.
Thor, Justice League,
Orient Express.
Orient Express, and then Star Wars.
Yeah, so we're getting down
Love it.
there. So, well, join us next week for Jigsaw. Let's get in the Halloween spirit. Let's really enjoy a scary movie together here at AMC Town Square at 10 o'clock.
Everyone gotta be safe. ChasingSinema.com is known as
The Film Lovers website.